Hi guys, it's Piper from Woodland Wanderings here, and I just wanted to make a video to share with you my latest altered art mixed media canvas. I got the inspiration for this canvas from a lot of people on YouTube, a lot of artists, but I have to say that the first time that I've ever actually saw this in the works actually being done and created on YouTube was Luvleescrappin. She's got a great channel and her work is just gorgeous, and I was really truly inspired by the canvas that she did of her daughter. And I had this lovely black and white photo of my own daughter, who is a lot older than Luvleescrappin's daughter, but I have this photo and I thought it would be perfect for trying this style of canvas out for the very first time. And using just found objects, paints and sprays, and a lot of metal findings. And honestly, I think that that was the biggest appeal to me about this style of work, is that a lot of you can just use anything in your stash, anything at all. Some of it has meaning to you. For example, I used a piece of a broken necklace that my daughter used to wear here with a butterfly. I don't think you can see it, but some of the pieces are like that, broken bits of jewelry that have a little story behind them. And then other things are just found objects from your stash. And basically it's just this wonderful, wonderful process of layering and layering and more layering, placing things where you like them, layering some more, spraying some more, and the overall effect when you're finally finished is just really mesmerizing to me. I mean, there's just so much to look at and so much to take in. So, unfortunately, this is not an in-process video that shows how everything was done, but I did want to share it with you nonetheless because it was the first canvas like this that I've ever made, and I am hooked. I'm going to be making more, and I have ideas just flowing. I will say, like there's an old drawer pull on a piece of furniture down there, and then the little keyhole is from my stash, and there are nuts and bolts, stick pins that I've made. They're even in here. Beautiful lace trim. But I will say that the first step is just choosing your canvas size, covering it with gesso. I used white gesso, and then I love the look of all the different textures. So I have used a combination of my pattern papers crinkled up and covered with gesso, bits of screen, lots of lace trim, lots of florals. It's just really cool to me how the lace and the flowers end up looking after they're completely covered with gesso and sprayed. Oh, and the cheesecloth. I got the idea of using the cheesecloth from Luvleescrappin again. And it really, I don't know if you can see, it creates such a cool texture on the sides of the canvas where you can see it. And I've also got bits of it peeking out around the photograph as well. So the cheesecloth was a lot of fun to work with, very cheap, something that I already had, and I'm sure a lot of you guys do too. I used some vintage pieces on the canvas too, like this is a vintage button that was in my stash. I have a couple of these throughout the canvas, just glued on. I primarily used a combination of glossy accents, my hot glue gun, and a little bit of that really strong stuff. I think it's like E600 or something like that. I don't like using that glue very often, but I did feel for some of the heavier metal pieces that it was necessary. For the most part, like with the cloth bits and everything, that went on with Mod Podge, and that worked just fine. I love how people are using zippers, or have been. I'm kind of catching on late, I guess, but you know, I had a bunch of zippers that I found at the dollar store, and I just painted them up, and I used one of them here. I cut it and used it here, and you can see some of the texture peeping through. You probably can't because of the camera work, but there is a lot of texture with this piece, a lot to look at. And with some of the metal pieces I actually layered them myself and created different heights and textures and different things just using the metal pieces that I had. And of course keys. I use a lot of watch hands and keys in here. And you know, it's funny because when you're laying all your pieces out, you're actually kind of afraid to cover them up with gesso, at least I was. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm covering up this really cool thing. I like the color the way it is, but I'm covering it up because the theme that I wanted for this was just kind of silvery blues and everything. But when you cover it and you make it white, and then you start your spraying and your painting, it's just really, really fun. So don't be afraid of covering up that stuff. It gives it kind of a new life and different depth and texture. And I love what it does to the flowers. I really wish my camera job was a little bit better here, but I mean, the flowers are just so cool with a little bit of the paint, different colors, and the gesso on it. And you know, like the stick pins. I even used 2 of my stick pins in here and covered them up and layered them with paint, and I like them. And a lot of floral stuff, and a lot of just little bits that I found that I really didn't know what to do with, but that ended up making their way onto this canvas somehow. And that's the other really cool thing, is repurposing and reusing stuff, and it kind of gives you just an appreciation for little bits and bobs and junk that you might not know what to do with. It comes alive on these types of canvases. And as far as the paints go, I used a lot of gesso, just plain white gesso, and I don't really have a huge amount of sprays in my collection, so I just used what I had, and then when I wanted a specific look or a specific color, I just tried to replicate it. So let me just tell you how I did that. But primarily I used my Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist, and this is called Water Slide. I used a lot of that. And I have some Lindy's, I think this is the Whale Watch Blue. So I did use Lindy's Whale Watch Blue. That's really pretty. I like that one. And I wanted to replicate some of the other Lindy's. I didn't have the Jack Frost White, and then there's this other color that I've seen people use. It's like a silvery black, and it's really, really pretty. I forget what it's called. I didn't have that either. So I just created my own. You totally cannot tell from the bottle, but this is a black that's got, you can probably tell from the bottom, it's got some metallic silver. So when you shake it all up, it's really a pretty silvery, soft black. And I used some Martha Stewart sterling silver paint and some just plain old acrylic paint in black. And then the rest was just water and a little bit of rubbing alcohol. And I created my own spray, and I was really happy with it. I thought it turned out pretty cool the way the colors worked. So, anyhow, made that one. And then I wanted that bright, pretty Jack Frost white that Lindy's has, and I didn't have anything like that, so I just kind of created my own using white paints, a little bit of rubbing alcohol, and some water. And that turned out pretty good. The consistency wasn't exactly what I had in mind, but I think that overall it turned out pretty well. But honestly, for the highlighting bits where you have the white over top of the colors that you chose, I did use mainly gesso for that. So I think for this project, the majority of the supplies that I used a lot of Mod Podge, and I used a lot of gesso. But everything as far as decorating the canvas came from my stash. I didn't have to buy anything, and that was really, really cool. Okay guys, so I just wanted you to know that even though I'm always reusing stuff and mixing up my own paints and all that good stuff, I'm not totally immune to the stash bug. You know, I go out and I like to buy my products and stuff too, and I was out today running errands and I did stop into Michael's and I did succumb to buying some new sprays. So I'm going to tell you what they are, a little bit about my small stash, because I've probably lulled you into, you know, a blissful sleep by now with talking about my canvas that I made. So I just wanted to share a small stash with you guys and ask if anybody's ever used these before, and if you have, please let me know what you thought about them. I realized that I didn't have much in the way of purchased sprays in my stash, just a few Lindsay's and a couple Tattered Angels. So these were on sale at Michael's. You buy one, you get one 50% off. So these are the Heidi Swap Color Shine sprays, and I got Amethyst and Black Velvet. And then I also got some Perfect Pearls mists, and this is the Interference Red, and what is this one called? The turquoise. So I thought they look kind of metallic. When you shake them up, they have like lots of metallic floating around in there, and they looked like they would be really pretty. So if you have any experience using either of these, Heidi Swaps or the Perfect Pearls, let me know what you think. I can't wait to use them in another project. And next to my Michael's, there is a Tuesday Morning. And I've never heard of this in my life. Sometimes I can find the best buys at Tuesday Morning for craft stuff. But this is called Paris Trunk, and it's eco-friendly dye-based artist ink. Never heard of it. Eco-friendly. I liked the containers that it came in. I liked that it's eco-friendly, and I liked that they were only 99 cents each. So I had to try them. And of course, while I was at Tuesday Morning, they had stamp sets on sale for $3.99, and I got 2 new stamp sets. I could not resist. This one somebody else had purchased, and I saw their video, and I'm so sorry, I can't think of who had it. But this is the another Eco Green Crafts is the brand name. It's called Christmas Classics, and I absolutely adore. I don't have a lot of stuff in my Christmas stash, but I loved that chandelier, and I think I can use that year-round, not just at Christmas time. And then I love that angel there. Blair. She's really, really cute and just so old-fashioned, vintage looking, and the Santa's real vintage, and I love that. So that was at Tuesday Morning. The whole package, and the stamps are bigger than the pictures here. The stamps are, they're green, but they're pretty good size. And the whole package was only $3.99, so I could not resist. And same company, also at Tuesday Morning, another stamp set for $3.99. This is the Steampunk Accessories. And what I loved was the wire stamp. I love that wire. And then there was just a couple really tiny ones with nuts and bolts and washers and a ruler and like a temperature gauge or something. It's really cool. So $3.99, I figure I really can't go wrong there. It's a pretty good sized set. And again, it's, you know, a lot larger on the stamp than it is on the picture there. But I look forward to trying these out. I think they're pretty cool. $3.99, good deal. Okay guys, so that's it for me for tonight. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you really soon. Bye!